Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
For better or worse. How you doing? Welcome to the program. Good to have you here. It's the 15th of July, and it's a Tuesday, so that means one thing and one thing only. Susan, hello.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Well, okay. Tried to call you last night. You were nowhere to be found.
You're kidding.
No.
I was right here.
Well, we called you twice, right around 6:30.
Okay.
7:30 your time.
What? It's 6:30 my time.
7:30 your time.
Okay. I'm checking my recent calls, and you're not there.
How is that possible?
I don't know, Suze.
Okay, well.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Are you sure you called? You didn't call maybe my landline by mistake?
I didn't call the old number that ended in 1802. No,
okay.
I did not.
Huh. Well, go figure. I have not a clue.
Huh?
I don't know. What? That's weird. I was here. Wow. And it's not, it didn't show up. I mean, but it's not there as a call. So it's weird.
Okay,
Twice.
Well, something.
Yow. Spooky. Well, I'm sorry I missed your call. Anyway, are you?
Yeah, well.
You said you're in Green Bay?
We could try again tonight.
I won't be home.
I'm in Green Bay, and I'm with our brother Bill.
Oh, you're kidding. Is he actually right there?
No, he's not actually right here.
No, okay, because I was thinking you could put him on. So, okay, so everybody's there but me?
Yeah.
I'm always the missing link. It's awful.
Well, when you're here next, he won't be here. So
that's right.
That.
We can't get it all together.
No.
Okay. Well, listen. Yeah, and tonight it doesn't matter. Guys, we're doing a show here. We gotta, okay.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but you see, I tried to talk to her last night and get this all out of the way, but I couldn't. So you're just going to have to listen to our boring sisters conversation.
Oh, no, they won't. Let's stop. Okay, so Suze, I know I usually give you a bit of a respite on Tuesdays, give everybody a respite, but I did more of a respite show yesterday just for myself, and so I've got some stuff piled up here that we gotta.
Okay, well, you're entitled. 'Tis your show.
Indeed. So, I want to talk about something that I had. Laura says, say hello to Bill. Laura, Susan, was an employee.
Yes, worked at the university with Bill, yes.
And he raves about her, raved and raves. And I think out of curiosity, a long, long time ago, hearing his sister had a show, she tuned in, and she's been tuning in ever since, Laura. So
okay, Laura, it's done. The next time I see him, I'll send your greetings along.
He'll be happy to hear it. So, here's a thing. I think I read it over the weekend in two separate articles, but it's the kind of thing we read all the time. And it begs a question, and I just want to send it by you. There was, I can't remember this one piece. There was this long piece on the fact that it was, time flies, the year's anniversary of the assassination attempt on Trump right here in Western Pennsylvania. It's been a year, right?
Right.
Okay. So it was this bizarro article, very well done, about the people many of whom were there at the time, and the people in the area uh, in Western Pennsylvania who are full-on Trumpers. And it talked about the churches here a lot and how there's billboards up all around, praising God for saving him, and I don't know, all this weird stuff, and interviews with people who believe. I think I did take a screenshot of one thing that so creeped me out. Please let me have it here. Okay, so it says, on the road from Pittsburgh to Butler, past the cornfields and farm stands, before the fairgrounds where a shooter nearly killed Donald Trump 1 year ago, billboards quote 1 Corinthians and Psalm 27. Another sign advertises a local church with a photo of an American flag twisted into the shape of a Y. Now, right there, you can't even get that what? Right? And
Yeah.
thank God there is a picture accompanying the piece. And it does show a flag on a flagpole. Well, I'll read the next thing. The reference is unmistakable for most anyone who was at the fateful rally. A few hours before Trump spoke, the 30 by 60-foot flag suspended over the stage got wrapped up in the wind. Quote, this is the pastor of the Church of God at Connequenessing. Some people thought it looked like an angel. So, goes on to say that image of the twisted flag that some people thought looked like an angel at the Trump rally quickly spread all across MAGAland, alongside the photo of him pumping his fist in the air and his blood, one drop of blood coming down his face. And the article said how this absolutely solidified in the minds of many that he literally is sent by God.
Ugh.
Okay.
What?
So I know. You read something like that and you think this just can't. But it is. It's real. And we're talking about millions of our fellow Americans thinking that. And then there was this other article. I don't know why I remember the place name, but I do. Curtis, Nebraska was where this article was from. And it was just one of those articles talking about a rural health clinic closing down, and the CEO of the clinic has sadly had to do so, but told all the people who relied on it that I'm sorry, there's just no way that we can continue. And flatly said it was the cuts in Medicaid that are coming and other things that had stymied. And the article was about how nobody in that town of Curtis, Nebraska, believed that it had anything to do with anything Trump did, the closing of their clinic.
Well, they're wrong.
Well, but there, well, that's
No, I mean, do you see a twisted flag as an angel, or do you see as a symbol of what they've done to our country?
well,
You can either see the truth, or you can. For half of this country, they simply prefer not to believe the truth.
but
I don't get it.
It's so frightening.
I mean,
It's
I was
so
reading, as I frequently do, I was reading some comment to something, some nasty comment, and it was written by a woman whose last name was spelled with way too many consonants in a row and then way too many, vowels of funny places. My reaction being, that's certainly not an American name. And she was, writing a
Susan,
comment
what's an American name? American names are everything.
exactly. But my point being that everybody is so sure that ICE, for example, is after everybody but them.
Yeah.
And my comment to her is, you're next, honey. Why are you so happy?
They don't believe
with a name like that. With a name like that, you're next.
They don't believe that.
Well,
and speaking of that, Susan, I happen to be watching. I for those of you who might also have seen MSNBC last night, Nicole Wallace, she had on a man who I guess coaches a baseball team or sort of camp on the Upper West Side, I believe they said, Upper West Side of Manhattan, in some park there. And he was on because at his camp the other day, ICE showed up and went right for the kids.
Right.
Right for the kids. These are teenagers. And started asking, so, where are you from? And he immediately goes up and tells the kids, do not answer these questions. You do not have to answer these questions. And he tells the ICE people, you are, these guys have Fifth Amendment right not to answer a damn thing. And why are you here? And what is going on? And he went back and forth. Oh, they ridiculed him, said, oh, another YouTube lawyer we got here, and would not answer basic questions he was asking. This guy was so articulate, so amazingly well-spoken, and knew the Constitution. And he broke down in part of the interview when he was asked, well, this is a busy park, so there must have been, it's New York City, there must have been other people there who were watching this. What did they do? And he struggled not to start sobbing because they did nothing. And that happened, I guess, this weekend. Since they showed up, the kids haven't shown back either. They haven't come back.
Oh.
Is that,
it's awful.
So, okay. So I am, yeah. And so what that was about is we are all going to, at some point, find ourselves where those onlookers were in New York City. Many of whom might consider themselves opposed to all this stuff that Trump is doing. But in the moment, they chose to do nothing out of fear. And a moment like that is coming for all of us. Incredible. So, anyway, all of that.
No, it's just, it is. It's And we can't just sit there and watch. I mean, the comment that I was responding to was someone that was defending a motorist that just ran over a bunch of protesters. The comment being, well, what are they doing in the road? We are actually at a point where we have to remind people that pedestrians always have the right of way.
And not only that,
inconveniently gathered in the road.
That people also have the right to protest and engage in civil disobedience, and people don't get to drive their cars into throngs of humans who are
for fun.
It's just, So anyway, Susan, all of this is to bring us to this issue I've been avoiding, but can no longer, because apparently in that universe that these mag rats inhabit, there's a brewing civil war.
Oh, I know, they're pissed.
Well, they're not.
Let's hear it for Epstein.
Yeah. So here's the thing. How bizarre that I started this by saying, they won't hold him accountable for anything. He could be, as he said, how many years ago, I could shoot somebody in the middle of Park Avenue and
Fifth Avenue. Excuse me for joking. Yes.
Yeah. So this is true. They will never hold him accountable for anything, because I guess God sent him. But there's a crack, and he was openly being criticized in many quarters in MAGAland because of the failure of Pam Bondi to come clean on what she said
deliver the goods.
Was sitting on her desk, which was
and sitting on her desk, and she told how many pictures, how many names, she was quite clear. And then when she comes up the next day and says, yeah, well, none of that actually exists, never mind, go away.
They won't. For some reason, this is the thing. And so I've been reading a lot of stuff about this. Could this, in fact, because we could not get in our heads the flag as an angel thing, because we cannot comprehend the world these people are living in, this made up world. I've done a lot.
Well, Lynn, let me just suggest that religion has brought us to this point, and I don't mean that in any way other than we have been taught to believe in fairy tales from the very, very, very beginning. Why should we be upset that people that believe in, I don't know, resurrection, in angels, don't want to believe any other bit of nonsense that someone peddles to them? And maybe it's all true. Susan. I don't know. Maybe it's all true. I'm just saying
but you just called it
things that might not necessarily be true.
Well, that's true, but that is the essence of faith, right?
It is the essence of faith, and I'm not suggesting that
well, I wouldn't call somebody's religion a basis for religion, which is the resurrection, nonsense. It's disrespect.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I struggle with this daily because, part of my human spirit absolutely prays to some being that the rest of my rational being doesn't believe is there. I can understand both points of view because they exist quite naturally in my very own head, but I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the fact that it takes faith for one thing, because there's absolutely no proof, and that I choose to be faithful if that is the thing. It's very different. And I do think that we have been primed to accept falsehoods without any, without any question.
Well, it is so much part and parcel of human history. This need.
And religions are all
No,
woven through all
this
of this
need,
political
that's what
stuff
I'm saying, this
too.
need to believe that, railing against it ain't gonna get us anywhere, because it is a given that humans have this need to comprehend
To
what the hell.
provide comforting solutions to
Right, to
things that
why? To
they
these
don't
questions.
understand.
No, yeah. To what am I? Who am I? What am I doing here? What is the purpose? How did I get here? Who created
Right.
this? I mean, it's perfectly understandable. It's been a question since we were knuckle draggers. I mean, yeah, it comes with the territory of having a brain that sometimes functions. But
Yes, but at some point, as one matures and becomes an adult, one understands that every question can't be answered to one's satisfaction, and that every answer isn't what one would wish it to be. I just
okay, Susan, you're doing battle with uh, just
I know,
human nature, and that doesn't.
I know, and that's a losing battle. I know.
I don't. Whatever. I don't know either. But I want to just share with you some things that I have found have made it helpful for me to comprehend why this, why this story. I mean, when they don't, he can, he can do anything, as we've seen. And they won't make a peep.
I don't. That this whole group has a fascination with sex trafficking,
with pedophilia and sex trafficking.
They just
And this
it's
is,
an absolute obsession with
I
this
know,
group of people, which
So,
I think is very weird.
well, it
But
is. And
okay.
if you'll recall that bizarro thing with the guy running into that pizza shop, in DC.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Because
assuring that Hillary Clinton was
was eating. Oh, not only that, they're eating. They're cannibalizing children. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, George Soros. I think even Tom Hanks is one of them. It's like they've created this insanity that, to us, clear insanity, and they believe it. Now that was QAnon stuff, but QAnon did morph into, there's a definite overlap with MAGA.
QAnon is just mainstream MAGA now.
So they do believe that there are these globalist forces. There's a force out there that is controlling all of this craziness and is so powerful. This is what's scary now. So powerful that now that Trump is the president and Kash Patel is head of the FBI and Pam Bondi is the attorney general, now that they hold the powers, all of a sudden they are silenced, won't let anybody see what they know.
Well, because they are holders of the truth, and that's the problem. They are faced with being the people that actually.
No. But not to these people's heads. That's not how they're seeing it. First of all, why would you choose to think? Why would you expect Donald Trump, a convicted sex abuser who was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and for whom there's pictures and pictures and pictures, they party together?
Oh, and
Who
quotes of Trump saying that Epstein, he's quite a ladies' man. He likes them very young.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's
all
a
of that. But so, okay,
from Donald Trump.
I know. So, Susan, but here's again shows the insanity of it, that they think that Donald Trump is the guy who's going to out his old friend, and that never occurs to them that if there's a list that Donald's on it, if anyone's implicated, God knows he's going to be, it doesn't occur to them? I mean, the level of insanity here and denial is beyond belief.
Well,
But
no,
what
it's
they
not.
think is now that he is, you see, it's easy to do this crap, the deep state and these forces that are controlling the deep state. And we're going to go in there and we're going to dismantle it, all of which is part of the allure and what he has been pretending to be doing. But then this, he wouldn't let them see the thing he promised he was going to let them see. And he's told them, never mind, move on. And they won't, because they truly believe it, and they're not believing him all of a sudden. And they're thinking that he's now, perhaps, under the control of the deep
Of
state.
the deep state.
Right. So, okay.
Well,
So wait. So let me just read. Trumpism, this is Michelle Goldberg, has always been premised on the idea that he, Donald Trump, is warring against dark, even satanic globalist forces. And within the movement, there is a fierce yearning for the cathartic moment when these forces will be exposed and vanquished. The Epstein files were supposed to show the world once and for all the scale of this evil system that Trump's voters have always believed he is fighting. Steve Bannon is quoted as saying, Epstein is the key that picks the lock on so many things. So,
well,
and
this is goes by the name of hoist on one's own petard.
yeah.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Right. But here, I think it gets darker. Let me share David French with you. The Epstein story matters so much in MAGA circles because it's a key element in their indictment of America's ruling class. And Trump's appeal to the base isn't just rooted in his supporters' affection for him. It's rooted in their almost indescribably dark view of the government and the world. That is why they are so keen to burn it all down. If you believe your government is populated by people so depraved that they participate in and cover up systematic sexual abuse of children, then you want them out of office, you want them prosecuted, imprisoned, even executed, and you'd want all the power you'd need to make that happen. And Trump promised he would be that guy.
Yeah.
So this was the man that they trusted to fully expose Epstein.
Right. And the first chance he has on the main issue, he goes, nothing to see here.
Okay, well, it ain't flying. And that's what's so fascinating. No. I thought okay, it ain't flying. But
no, and so to the point that he's going, stop talking about Epstein or Epstein.
Well, here's the thing. They aren't.
And they won't.
And media now are not, because there's a story unfolding here.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't going away. And there was some conference, some conservative conference over the weekend where Trump was actually booed, where Tucker Carlson got up and said things. I can't find his quote. It said things essentially that this is it. We've got Dan Bongino saying he's going to have to leave the FBI. They're calling for Bondi's head, and I don't think Bondi's head is going to do it, because they'll still know that Trump has the information, and why isn't he giving it to them? Here's the thing: the more I read about what they believe about Epstein, the more I started to get chills, because, Susan, they think he was a Mossad agent. And they think Maxwell, his female, consigliere, was a Mossad agent. They think Epstein was working for Israel. These are the same people who think there's some global conspiracy. People who run the world. And lo and behold,
I hadn't heard that one yet, but I mean,
well, Suze,
you can understand how they make this stuff up.
Well, Suze, here it is. So Tucker Carlson was doing the Mossad thing this weekend again. Let me give you Michelle Goldberg. Okay. Michelle, to understand why it's such a crisis in MAGAland, you need to understand the crucial role that Epstein plays in the mythologies buttressing their world. The cases of equal interest to QAnon types, who also see in Epstein's crimes proof of their conviction that networks of elite pedophiles have hijacked America. It also dovetails with the MAGA group's right-wing critics of Israel, and all are convinced that Epstein worked for the Mossad, Israel's spy service. Okay, so I need now go no further. While I would caution Jews especially, don't get too excited about this, because the way that they might finally get to spin this is it's the Jews.
Yep. No, it'll always come back to it's our fault.
Well,
and he got a guy named Epstein. What are you going to do?
Explain how deep and how bizarre. If we don't understand what these people, millions upon millions upon millions of them, are believing, the people who saw an angel in that flag, ultimately they think Jews. So
well, it's sort of always been thus.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's always been thus. It is now. I just want to make really clear here that is where ultimately this is going to end.
Yep.
So
it's all terribly unpleasant.
That's putting it mildly. That's putting it.
And I'm wondering how long Giselle, whatever her name is Ghislaine, is going to be alive.
Well, she's in jail forever, right?
Well, so was he.
Well, again,
nothing to see there. It was a suicide, so they said.
You see, here's the thing. Epstein was I mean, he's perfect, and you can see why they glommed onto him. Epstein was somebody who was connected to seemingly all the powerful people in the world. Palsy-walsy with Bill Clinton, with the Prince of England. And yeah, they sought him out. His money, and where the hell all that came from, I don't know. The lives he ruined. I mean, he literally hundreds and hundreds of girls, and were handed around to all of these men. Just evil. And of course, he's got to be a Jew.
Of course. Well, there's disgusting men all around. Well, and there's plenty of good ones too, but and I'm sorry that the good ones are getting tired of being branded by the disgusting ones, but that's just the way it is.
Milton says, once folks start believing in talking snakes, it ain't too hard to convince them that a felonious rapist is a savior.
Thank you, Milton. That's what I was trying to say.
Anyway, I have to say that when I read Michelle Goldberg's piece, it just freaked me out. So
yeah,
just so we comprehend, because the incomprehensible, Trump's base, our fellow Americans, and
because they can always go lower. Yeah, they can.
And they can incredible staying power of certain human needs, the needs to have scapegoats, be they immigrants or be they
also
Jews.
Just the joy that so many people take in overt cruelty. To me, that's the worst.
Yeah, that is one of the things that is so
watching so many people cheering, thinking they're in the Colosseum in Roman times, and they're on the side of the lions, for crying out loud.
Well, I agree. It's I don't know. AD writes, your theory is giving dumb people too much credit. I'm a Catholic. What you have are people who want to be Christian, but it's hard. You have to constantly battle prejudices, think about your actions and bad feelings. So they vote for Trump and let him live out all the dark feelings and thoughts. On the surface, they can look like good Christians who ignore the New Testament, but they forget that God sees it all. Well, what's God doing about it, though?
Well, I was reading one of those things too, about God. But that's the problem. I just don't understand the willingness to proclaim one's religiosity while one lives the total opposite of it.
Yeah, well,
and just forgiving oneself right and left. Living up to any moral standard is hard. It doesn't have to be a religious one. If to live by one's own ethics is not easy, ever. There's always exceptions. There's always times you don't want to do it.
Well, I must say the most astonishing thing is all of the so-called ministers and pastors and churches that are just full on MAGA.
Hateful.
It's like this minister that was quoted in that article, who uses that flag for Trump to advertise for his church. God Almighty. So,
well, but so one asks oneself, who is that man? And I mean, if he's advertising for his church, he's just making money. He's just another huckster.
Religion is full of hucksters.
Religious people should be upset that they're being branded by these,
Susan,
anything but religious folk.
Think of broadcast ministries. I mean, there's no way that the religion is not always going to be one of the hucksters and con men's greatest platforms.
Yeah,
and always has been.
Always has been. Some of the greatest movies are about that.
Oh yeah, right, indeed.
What was that, Burt Lancaster?
Oh, that Burt Lancaster movie is just extraordinary. I'm blanking on the name too, but I was exactly thinking of him. Just amazing. So
that black and white film with the dust and him, it was just the exact right.
And who was the actress in that who I think won an Academy Award, who played the prostitute, who was a good girl actress in every way and is from this area? Why am I blanking on everybody's names here? Anyway, never mind. So, okay, and with all of this going on, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who's scared, although Trump has been backing her, Bondi has managed to fire a bunch of other people over in her department, including her top ethics officer.
Well, I mean, that's one of those redundancy positions. She's got ethics all handled. She doesn't need that.
Yeah. Hey, Watchman has said something that I agree with, Susan. I want you to hear it. You insult people's religion and wonder why we lose elections. Good grief.
Well, I'm insulting everybody's religions.
It doesn't matter, but Suze, that's why I'm saying it's our sort of, it's the Hillary saying their guns and their whatever she said. It's not a winning formula.
No, it's not a winning argument. But I'm going to always say it's not me that's insulting your religion. It's people proclaiming themselves to be one of you.
Yeah, but maybe silence is a better, I think.
Well, I'm sure you're right.
I think if you want to insult someone's religion, just stick with your own. And if you want to go after...
I apologize. Let's just cut to the chase. I apologize.
Okay. Thank you, Milton. Elmer Gantry.
Ah, yeah.
Right. Just a wonderful movie. Wonderful. Okay, so, hey, guess who's in town today? Just,
Oh, I heard you have a president in town.
Yeah. Right in my neighborhood.
Oh, great.
Maybe here. And what's bizarre is he's come. I mean, when is the last time Trump stepped foot on an institution of science and higher learning? I thought he was at war with them. But he's come here to Carnegie Mellon, which is all about science and theater and art and intelligence. Isn't it odd?
Well, if I were they, I'd be hiding under my desks.
Well, there's a lot of unhappiness about it. But
I hope that campus just goes quiet, that everybody just walks away and shuns them.
well, I think the security will be ridiculous. Thank you, Milton. Shirley Jones.
Milton, what would we do without you?
I don't know what I'd do without Milton. So, yeah, so Trump's here. And this is about Pittsburgh trying to position itself as, with some, it's a reasonable effort to be, if things going into AI, that we should be very much at the center of it all. And CMU being one of the premier institutions in it. So whatever. If it's going to help the economy here, fine. Usually when there's a big event like this and the president comes, the local pals are invited, right? They aren't. Our county executive was not invited. Our county development people were not invited, even though this is supposedly about economic development. It's also fucking bizarre. I can't believe it. So, Trump's a busy guy. You have to admit. He does.
Yeah, no, he's got to fit this in between the golf games.
I know, but I do think he seems to be working a little harder than he did in his first term. I don't know. It just seems to me that way. But he did you see that he's busily one of the things he's considering is revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship.
Well, of course, because presidents can do that. You can just point to people and banish them and say that you are no longer a citizen for whatever reason.
Just uneffing believable.
Did you see what she wrote him back?
I know she was thrilled. I mean, because it's like being on Nixon's enemies list. It's nothing but good.
Right. No, and she just, he gave her the perfect opportunity to respond. Yeah. And she, of course, very logically eviscerated him.
Yeah.
So. To call her a danger to democracy, is to give her a trifle more power than, excuse the expression, but rather washed up old, lesbian deserves. It's very powerful.
Gee, Susan, you are sticking your fucking foot in it left, right, and center today.
Well, but that's how she would describe herself. That's how he would describe her. That's the crux of the whole thing.
Okay.
Elle is in she hasn't done anything in a long time. She's older. Not as old as me. I have to put the because she's younger than I am.
Well, she left the country. She lives in...
Right. But he imbued her with great power.
Well, that's where, he made them... It's strange he would give her the pleasure because he knows how much he enjoys being in the center of attention. So to give her attention, it would seem he's losing his goddamn mind if he ever had one. Laura writes, one is
right. She's just chuckling at him for living for all the discomfort that she has given him for so many years for all of those things. And living rent free in his head that he has to do this and gives her another opportunity. I saw what he did. Let's see, he should go after Ellen DeGeneres next, but she's managed to make herself not as popular as Rosie O'Donnell.
No, Rosie's likable. DeGeneres.
Rosie's always been likable.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, Laura writes, one is entitled to opinions, and religion is man-made and open to opinion. Many Sunday Christians are the root of all this, right? But people are criticizing. True. Chris says the Flim Flam Man is a good movie. I don't know that one from about 1950.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And Milton, some of this is cut off. I'm not seeing the bottom of it, but Milton says, after spending the first 25 years of my life being indoctrinated by several Christian denominations, he writes, I can, I'm assuming, criticize them. Or I don't get your next, I don't know, for some reason this thing's cutting off the bottom lines. Okay. Hey, Susan, do you remember?
I watched Pee Wee Herman's movie last night.
Oh,
I thought that was good. Have you watched that?
No, I have it on my list, and I shall. I definitely will. I was reading. No. Yeah. Do you remember a guy named? God, it's so long ago now. Abba Eban.
Oh, Abba Eban? Who could not remember Abba Eban? I mean, if only because it was a fun name to say, but also because he was in the New York Times crossword puzzle for several decades, every other day.
I suppose that is a good crossword puzzle name, but Abba Eban, for those of you who don't remember him, was a Israeli statesman, and was at one point, the position I'm remembering was their ambassador to the United Nations. And we're talking in the probably 60s.
In the very earliest days of the country, yes.
Yeah, in the 60s. And he always said, he was just an extraordinarily erudite man. So well spoken, it was mind blowing. He spoke with this sort of almost an English accent. And one of his quotes that I still find myself saying often, because I think he was right on the money with it, is the Palestinians never lose an opportunity to lose an opportunity. And he would have said that 50, 60 years ago.
Yep.
And this guy was a true diplomat and humanitarian. There was not he was just a good man who worked toward peace constantly. But
yeah, he was trying every day to create peace. Yes.
I was reminded of his brilliance and how clever he was, how he could say something that's so true in such a little nugget. And here's another one. Men and nations do act wisely when they have exhausted all the other possibilities.
Accurate.
Yeah. I mean, he was so...
Not until they're backed against the wall do they do the right thing. Absolutely.
It's the last thing they'll ever attempt. And he was always just right on the money about... I'm glad he's not around to see what's happened. Hey, this is just a little factoid I came upon that it blew me away. Only about half of murder cases in the United States are ever solved. Isn't that amazing? Because that means that if you were to consider murder, you could say,
yeah, the 50% chance of getting away with it.
Yeah,
I know, well, I but think if there are just serial killers out there and, that are responsible for a lot of murders that we don't
I don't think that's
know that
it.
tip the odds. I think in general, it's not that easy to get away with murder.
Only about half of American murder cases are solved, an unusually low rate compared with other Western nations.
I think there are whole groups of swaths of our population that the police just are not that interested in solving the crimes.
Other nations
or are incapable of doing it. There's a lot of those murders in the, a lot of the gun murders in the inner cities that are not necessarily solved.
Okay. Murder rate clearances where they get someone in Western nations other than us run between 70 to 90%.
What are their murder rates compared to us? I'm not trying to defend us. I'm just pointing out that we got a lot more gun deaths in this country than other people.
Oh, yeah. But we're not talking guns, Susan. We're saying murder. I mean, people manage to kill without guns. So I don't know.
I understand that.
I'm sure
but
our
I'm
high.
saying that
I hear you, and I'm sure we have a very high murder rate in this country.
Right.
We're an exceptionally violent people, and given the means to be so.
Right, and we have people that just drive by places and shoot in them and then keep driving, and they don't necessarily find those people.
Well, this little squib that I'm seeing from the New York Times says, the reasons for the U.S.'s low clearance rate include understaffed police departments, and there again is America's and Americans' refusal to fund community services. Americans don't believe in giving up their money in taxes to fund things that are supposed to be beneficial to the community, whether it be safety net stuff or whether it be something like police departments. So our police departments are much less funded than those in other nations. Hard to believe. And the other thing is the high number of guns.
Yeah.
So we are an exceptional nation. I always like to say that, human nature, which is the bugaboo, is when you think of it and you think of evolution and how slow evolution happens until, of course, you hit technology. But I've often said we're nothing more than cavemen with cell phones. The basic humanity of our species has changed, evolved very little, right? Since we.
Well, in some ways, it feels like we are actively devolving.
Well, that's true, but it shows how very. I'm telling you, cavemen with cell phones.
Yep.
And then
I was just sitting and wondering if you were being, if I should call you on being unnecessarily rude to cavemen. No, seriously.
Well, but cavemen, we are cavemen. So I'm just, they can't escape us and we can't escape them. We are their children. But the late, great biologist E.O. Wilson said this, and obviously more eloquently and absolutely nails it. The real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions. medieval institutions, and godlike technology. And remember that that sentence began with the real problem of humanity is.
Right.
So we have this extraordinary, the cell phones in our hands, the technology, but we have caveman's emotions. And also the institutions that we rely on have not evolved much since the Middle Ages. So I do think, I mean, all of that is, there it is. And that's a truism that is impossible to solve. Milton has another Abba Eban quote.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a brilliant man. A consensus means that everyone agrees to say collectively what no one believes individually. Or I wouldn't even say believes, I would say is willing to say individually. A consensus gives you cover, right? Or, I find that that one more problematic. I don't know. Far be it for me to ever argue with Abba.
I think that's correct.
Okay. A consensus means that everyone agrees to say collectively what no one believes individually.
What no one believes individually, yes, because they've all moved just a little bit. The other way to say that is a good deal is where everybody walks away not getting everything they want.
Well.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, Suze, I will be, maybe I could, can we talk later this afternoon?
Yeah, later this afternoon.
Because I'm going to be out around very late afternoon and evening. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll initiate a call to you.
Yeah, like around no later than 4 my time.
I'll do my best. Okay.
No later than 4:30 or I'm out of here at 5 my time, 4 your time. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and guys,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Oh yeah, and I apologize to every single person I offended this hour. I didn't mean to.
Okay, well, listen, I could end every show that way.
But I know you could. I want everybody to use put on their thinking caps for a change. That's all I want.
Okay. Not your tinfoil ones, the thinking ones.
No, real thinking caps, the kind that Captain Kangaroo would offer us.
Is he the one who said that?
I have no idea, but I'm thinking it might have been him.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, guys. And see you tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.